Hello everyone and welcome to a 3DFX Voodoo 2 repair video. Today we will have a look at two cards that were sent to me recently. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it on the top right corner. This is a video where I fixed the main boards of a Soundbrush 55 device. But today I will look at both of these Voodoo cards that were also in this package. I don't know if we will be able to fix both of them, but we will definitely inspect both of the cards under the microscope and see what kind of work awaits us. So there are two cards. This is the first one, which is very interesting because I can see already it has 110 megahertz memory chips. But otherwise the card doesn't look too bad. It does have scratches here over the memory chips and the 3DFX chips. Some of them seem to be quite deep, but I don't think this is an issue. We'll hopefully see more when we look at this card under the microscope. Also the back of the card is quite clean. There may be some SMD components missing. The solder mask is a little bit damaged, but I don't think this is a big issue. Now the second card is a Diamond Monster 3D2. This card definitely looks a lot worse. First of all, you can see that there are some pins missing around the 3DFX chips. And it also has scratches over the memory chips, and the PCI connector here is pretty bad. I also got a new little toy that I'm going to try out today. This is from SEQURE, and these are hot tweezers, or soldering tweezers, desoldering tweezers. I don't know what you call them. But yeah, this is something I always wanted to have, and now I have one of these tools which we will try on all the SMD components that need to be replaced on those 3DFX cards. It comes with a power adapter, which supports up to 65 watts of power delivery. It has an adapter for, I think this is UK, but it's the same here in the UAE. And it comes with a metal stand, which I have to assemble. And then we have a very nice silicon power delivery cable. Wow, this is very nice, has a very nice feel to it. If you have seen me using my multimeter, I am also using silicon cables. Those wires are just so much better because they are not tangling and they are not in the way when you're trying to work with your tools. So this is great. This cable feels even better. It has a very nice texture, and yeah, I can't wait to test this. But before I start using this, let's first have a look at the 3DFX cards under the microscope. Okay, so here is the first card, a 3DFX Interactive version 2.0. So let's have a look what we will discover on this card. This is the card that is in better condition, I believe. Here is the second TMU. The scratches here are not that nice, but well, nothing we can do about this. Something scratched over these memory chips. It is deep. You can feel definitely an unevenness to the surface of the memory chip. But it looks like it was just on the top here, and it also scratched over the 3DFX chip here. There is the occasional pin that seems to be bent. Oh, here's one that doesn't look good at all. I want to try and clean these boards in my new Ultrasonic cleaner. We will have a look at this in a moment. Let's check the other side. Here we only have a few SMD components. Oh, here is a capacitor missing. Okay, so here is something that went under the solder mask. Oh yeah, you can see that. Doesn't look too bad. I still see the copper color. So it's not hopeless, but we need to get rid of this solder mask and apply a new one. Oh, here we have damage. So here we have definitely an impact on one of the vias here, and I think there was still a little bit of the copper plane here that was squished to the right and maybe touching this via. I don't think it should touch this via. So this we have to check with a multimeter and maybe remove a portion of the copper that went close to this other via here. Okay, here we have more issues. There is a capacitor that lost one side. This one has to be replaced, and here's one missing. Maybe there are some more that are cracked in that area. This card doesn't look bad at all. I really wonder if it's just these few SMD components. So the only thing that prevents me from plugging this card into a system right now is this small damage here. Everything else that I have now seen doesn't look like it should prevent this card from working. Okay, so this is card number 1. Let's have a look at card number 2. So now we have our Diamond Monster 3D2. Let's also start on the top, and here we already have the SLI connector, which doesn't look good at all. There are a few pins that are bent 90 degrees and twisted on top of it. There's also some residue on the board, so I wonder if my ultrasonic cleaner will be able to get rid of that. There's a lot of buildup here between those golden pins. This is our IC that is responsible for switching between the different VGA output signals. So one time it's the loop through 2D signal, and one time it can be the 3D signal that's generated on the Voodoo card. And here's the first 3DFX chip. This is TMU number 1, I believe. The other one is TMU number 0. So the one that's closer to the VGA connectors is TMU number 1. And this looks good. But this corner here... Let's start here on the bottom, because... yeah, so there are a few pins loose. This card definitely doesn't work. And there is one pin missing here for this pad. So this is one. Then we have pins here. This one looks like it's still attached to the chip, so this is good, but we are missing 1, 2. So we have to remove a part of this chip here. Oh. Okay, I think we have 3 legs missing. How did this not fall off? Okay. So here is one of the legs. So we have 3. How? So every second pin broke off. I think this pin is also internally snapped off. So here is our leg that comes out of the 3DFX chip. Yeah, this is off too. Anyway, we have to remove the entire corner here, I think, of the plastic housing. This will be something that's interesting. I haven't done this before, so I'll try to get quite a bit of the plastic body away, that we have access to all these pins, and we should be able to see how the traces here are going inside the chip. So basically I will go and probably remove all this, what you see here right now. All this one has to go, and then we'll go down all the way until we see the copper inside turns into these legs. Yeah, this is definitely broken. So this one has to be removed. Otherwise I don't see anything right now that is a problem. Okay. Yeah, there are so many SMD components that have been knocked off. These are probably, yeah, all 100 nanofarad. We can figure that out with the component maps on Voodoo 2 cards. There are some of them on Vocons available, so you can easily look up the capacitor number here, and then you know what component should go here. But you see, there are so many missing, and probably cracked as well. So this one here we have to add back to the pad, and I already see here there are again some of the resistors that have been knocked off. I think all of these ones were populated. I guess they were all 47 ohm, but even these ones we can look up from the component map. They are also mentioned there. Okay. 3DFX chip is cracked. All the way through the middle. Something hit the card here, probably, and caused the entire chip to crack. Okay, I have no experience with a cracked chip like this. The question is the silicon die inside still intact or not? So I don't think we are going to fix this card today, but please let me know in the comments what you think. Is this chip still okay? Is there a chance that this chip is still okay? Or do you think that's it? There was just too much force that also cracked the silicon inside. I think it was physical force. I don't think this overheated because I don't see any burn marks or discoloration of the chip. It was for sure this bump that whatever hit it here that caused this entire chip to crack. I really want you to tell me if you have experience with this. Let me know in the comments if you think that there is a chance that chip still works, or maybe this one will not even get warm. Sad. So yeah, what I want to do now is I will put these cards in my ultrasonic cleaner and see if we can get rid of all that dirt that is in between the chips and on the boards. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the SMD components will fall off, because something like this could just, well, maybe not this one, but there were others that barely hold on to the board. Like this part here could, yeah, this one will definitely fall off. So let's get rid of this one already. But yeah, the big problem on this board is our FBI chip that is cracked in the middle of the housing here. Okay, yeah, I do not want to assemble this off camera because this is a very nice little stand. This looks like it's aluminum and it's full solid. And here are very tiny screws. I don't know yet where these ones are used for. Definitely these ones go in these screw holes here. I can also mount it on the sides if I want to. I guess if you feel like this is maybe in your way, you could just have it like this, and the sponge, which is very flat. That's interesting. I don't know what this is, but this looks, it's like almost like a piece of paper. Anyway, so let's just get this together quickly. I think I will do the traditional way, like I have my stand for the soldering iron. Yeah, they have all the tools included, nothing needed. I still don't know what these tiny screws and these keys are for. So let's see. Okay. Yep, that is it. And here is our little stand. Now let's see what happens when we put some water on this paper. So here's your sponge. For all tests today, I will use the supplied power adapter, the USB-C cable, the stand, and of course the HT140 soldering tweezers. Okay, then let's power on the HT140 for the first time. Okay. And we have the room temperature, I think. And we see 20 volts, 3 amperes. This is around 60 watts. So let's see what happens when we press a few of these buttons. Just beeps. Okay, long press. Okay, this one heats up. Can it switch off? Yes. So this button is to enable and disable the heating element. And I guess this one here is menu, yes. So left and right. Okay, back and forth, long press, I guess we are going into the submenus, yes. Menu is quite simple, I think. I will not go through all the settings in here, I'm pretty sure they are self-explanatory. There was this little QR code in the pouch. Basically, you have to scan this with your phone and then you will get the manual. So let's go back into the menu. This is probably brightness. Yes, so brightness, language. Nice that it was on English from the very beginning. So then you can change the brightness of the LED screen or OLED screen, what it said here. Okay, now here, no. Okay, how do I get out? I have to wait, or both? Yeah, both of them is back. Yeah, you will figure that out pretty quickly. What do we have here? Okay, we can go up to 28 volts, but we can also go down. We'll leave it at 20. I think this one should be more like 25, maybe. Oh yeah, okay, you can go in steps. I like to have it at 25. C. Let me change the temperature here. I want to go start with 350 and then I can easily go up and down if needed. So this one is 350. Then we have temperature compensation. Here you can adjust the temperature between both of the leads here if you need to, left and right. Temperature unit is in Celsius. Then temperature shield, I have no idea what that means. Oh, yeah, this menu closes out very quickly. Shield, buzzer, we hear this all the time. Start heat, so I guess this is when you are powering on the device, immediately it starts heating up. Turbo sets, predefined sets, I believe. So you have temperature set 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to use these anyway. So then we have LR select. L and R is selected, so I believe you can... okay, so you could go and only have the left, the right, or both tips working at the same time. So if you are in desperate need for a soldering iron, you can just use one of the tips to heat up, restore, and that's it. So yeah, this is how I will have my HT140 configured. And now let's jump under the microscope and have a look at our first Voodoo card. So for all SMD related work, I will try to use only the tweezers, the HT140. But of course, I will also do all the other checks. Like for instance, I will test now if the pins of the 3DFX chips are still connected to the pads. Yeah, and you can see that there are already some pins that are loose. This definitely needs a reflow. So I will reflow these chips now because this definitely could be the reason why this card doesn't work. And then we will jump into SMD related fixes, mostly replacing capacitors. I should have read what was written on these anti-static bags because there is a small problem description. So the one we are working on right now, it says TMU doesn't work. And with my analysis right now, seeing that all these pins are disconnected of this one TMU chip, that makes perfect sense. So yes, I think once we reflow that chip, this card will work. The problem is the second card. The Diamond Monster 2 is labeled for parts or repair. So we have already seen that the FBI chip is cracked. Yeah, so this is at least a small hint that was already given to me, which I completely ignored at the beginning of this video. So yeah, I just wanted to have this mentioned. I also figured out where these small screws are used for. As you can see here, the heating elements are secured with 4 tiny screws all around, and you need this key that we have seen at the beginning to unscrew these ones. So it's good that Square included those. I wouldn't have had one of those fine keys at home, so yeah, great that they included 2 of them. Don't lose them if you have a device like this, otherwise you will not be able to remove these heating elements. Okay, let's quickly see if we have a bridged contact here. So these two should be connected, this one and this. Yes. Let's see if we have continuity here. No, and I can see there's a little gap here, but this is because the via is damaged and was pushed to the right. So let me clean this up quickly and let's get rid of this copper that is squished towards this other via. So this one should be fine now, but we still have to look at what happened here with the solder mask. So this is now something I will take care of. There was some damage here. I'll just get rid of the solder mask here and we can reapply a fresh one. Actually, before we do that, let's try out the HT140 and remove these 2 capacitors here. Okay, then let's try this for the first time with the tweezers. Let's see. Oh, okay, that was super easy. So here is my capacitor. Let's try the other one. Now the problem with the capacitors is one side is always connected to a copper plane, and you can see here this is massive. So let's see how this one behaves. I'm trying not to put too much force. I want the component to get off. Yes, here we go. You can see the left part here was definitely... Get lost, here we go. The left solder here definitely needed longer time to melt. Here, this one is immediately liquid. This one here connected to the copper plane. Yeah, it doesn't really melt. For this, you probably need something with more thermal mass. So I just see that there was one of the contacts damaged while I was resoldering this capacitor. It may be okay, but I don't trust it, so I will replace this. Usually I just would use new ones, but because I have these tweezers here, I want to try and get them from the donor board. So here are some components that we could try. There is a diode in the way, so let's just try and get some of these caps off. I will then measure them and see if they have the correct value. I am at 375 now. So let's see, first is that diode here. Here we go, very easy. Okay, so let's try the next one. This is a capacitor, maybe one that we need. Wow, this is super easy. Yep. So let's see this one. Okay, also not a problem. This one. Okay, super easy and fast. This is a little bit harder. We have big copper planes, but also no issue. Okay, let's try one that's a little bit dirty. Let's just see how this one goes without flux and dirt on the board. Okay. Yeah, it did work, but it was a lot harder. 100. 100. 36. Yep, no. So then let's get rid of this friend here that lost half of its connection pad. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Now let's check what other components we have to fix. While looking over the board, I found this capacitor. This is a 1206, I believe. Let's see how the tweezers are going to work on this bigger component. Now, the right side here is connected to a big copper plane. So I think what I want to do is I first want to heat up this side. Let's see if it, oh, there we go. And now I can go up and there we go. So heat up one side first. That may help a little bit to get the component off. Let's just take the one next to as well off, just to double check. And I think this one also is not the best anymore, so maybe replace both of them. Let's just double check what value this one has. I will go ahead and put the tweezers on the part that is connected to the ground plane. And here we go. And now just go to the other side and here we go. Very easy. Okay, so here are the two new candidates for this spot. Okay, I did my final checks, and luckily I did, because this is not a solder bridge, but where is it? Just saw it here. Let's get the lights up a little bit. So this one is now maximum magnification. Here, from cleaning maybe, I somehow found a solder ball. I think this is probably from the time when it was made, the card. They used some flux with solder balls, solder paste. This must have come from then. So yeah, good that I saw that, but now I have to continue to check if I find more of those. I also reinforced this one pin that is really like squished towards the body of the 3DFX chip. Now here I did not want to bend this back. I'm pretty sure I'll break it off. The angle here is too steep. So all I did is I just applied one layer of fresh solder to somehow protect this bend, that it doesn't maybe rust or something. So yeah, I didn't do anything here but to just cover over it a little bit. There is no need to bend this pin back. So how did the tweezers do? Well, I think they are pretty good for SMD work, but it's only good for desoldering. Soldering is a different kind of beast because yeah, you need more precision, you need more heat, and I think it's not that nice to do that with the tweezers. But to harvest SMD components from somewhere else or to remove them, that's perfect. I think I will keep those tweezers and use them in future videos. And I just checked now the last TMU chip. This card looks to be fine. I will just do a final test if there is any short on the board. And if there is no short, then you will see me set up the system and we will test if this 3DFX Voodoo 2 is going to work. I have set up my P2B with a 500 MHz Pentium 3. The Voodoo 2 is also in the system, connected to a Matrox Millennium card. And I think let's try to power on the system and see what we get. We get a beep and we have a boot screen. Let's hope we get into Windows and we will see a Voodoo 2 in the device manager. That would be great if this card would work, because then we can look forward to the other Voodoo 2 with a cracked chip. Okay, mouse is working. Let's see if we have the Voodoo 2. In this system, there was already a Voodoo 2 before, I'm sure of that. And yes, we have a Voodoo 2 accelerator. So let's see if it's being detected by 3D Mark. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, we have a 3D accelerator and all the memory is showing up and the card is here as well. So this looks really promising. Let's see. Let's just do the two 3D benchmarks. Yeah, the Voodoo 2 is working. So far it looks great. The only thing that had to be fixed on this card were the pins around the 3DFX chips. Everything else was probably not going to affect anything on this card. This one smooch where the copper layer was almost touching the via, this was not an issue. Definitely it didn't touch it when I measured it. So yeah, this 3DFX card is going to be fine. And now I reflowed around all three 3DFX chips. This card will work for a very long time. So let's just open up a glide game before we go. Let's try Unreal. This is for sure not running on the Matrox card with the shiny surfaces and everything. And yeah, here you can see the shiny surfaces. So yeah, this is definitely glide. And this is all I have for you today. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking the video. And if you want to support me, you can head over to Patreon and pick one of the memberships, or you can pick the free tier to just browse around. A big thank you to all my Patreons who are already supporting me. Your support makes all these videos possible. Finally, I want to thank SEQURE for sending this little tool my way. The HT140 is a very nice tool for desoldering SMD components. If you're interested in these tweezers, I have a link to the product in the video description, but also on my website, which you can check out and see all the other products that I'm using. If you can see a product on my website that I'm using during a video, please let me know. I will try to put the link up as soon as possible. And this is all I have for you today. Take care and bye-bye.